We are live. Perfect. I gotta tell you, fam. Oh, yes. We are not gonna believe it. Perfect. There we are. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's go ahead and get this done. Perfect. Go ahead and get ourselves live and ready here. Live. There we are. It's always a hassle to get this video running on my phone, but you can already see everybody. We're here. Let's go live videos. Why is it not going? Okay, now it's gone. There you go. Perfect. Oh, don't you like it? Testing audio. Oh, don't you like it? Okay, audio is good. It's perfect, I will say. Okie dokie. Guys, please tell me you like that thumbnail picture. Come on, it took me a while. It took me a while to find it. I'm not kidding when I tell you that we've been waiting for a long time for this moment. But I know you are ready and locked in. Do me a favor, guys, and tell me in the chat those good stories. I'm seeing them right here. I got my little phone on the side, and this is the way it's gonna look like today. Volume is all the way to the moon. We're gonna be waiting for him. There he is. Everybody locked in, and here it is. It's not the one for today, right?
Good afternoon.
And everything tanks. Everything's gonna tank. As soon as he says that, everything tanks. We know that, guys. We know that. That was the one back in July. That was the one back in July, guys. I think I'm too big. Let me go ahead and move this a little bit more. There you go. Yes, you're seeing all my backend. You're seeing the OBS. You're seeing YouTube Live. So welcome, everybody. Now, I want us to listen to Anthony. He's a good guy. He's a big one, right? So he says the following: the Federal Reserve should cut interest rates by 50 basis points today. Here's the case as to why. XRP, we're looking at about 3.02. I want to remind you guys, I have right now 4 XRP live longs. If the price of XRP goes passing 310, this phase is going to be really happy because we're going to be cooking and cooking and cooking. I see Brandon White in the house. I see TJ. I think Ghost is right there too. So it's pretty nice. Welcome. I want to listen to what Anthony has to say. And we are 30 minutes away. 30 minutes away for the big decision, what the Fed is going to do. And we are 1 hour away for the press conference. But everybody's live right now. Big shout out to everybody here. We got 1,000 people already. Come on and let us go. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and listen to this, everybody. Turn those speakers on.
Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve are finally poised to make their first interest rate cuts of the year later today. Now, are they behind the curve? Of course they are. Have people lost confidence in the Fed? Obviously. Just go look on the internet. But we have finally arrived at the big day for the central bank to capitulate. They're going to wave their little white flag. They have been gaslighting the American people for months. They've been predicting sky-high inflation. That was their main reason for not cutting rates. But that prediction, it never came true. Inflation is much lower than they thought. Shelves are not empty, and there was no recession, nor was there a Great Depression. The bears are crying. Unfortunately, the labor market, though, has deteriorated in the meantime. We've seen sluggish payroll growth, and it's been coupled with recent downward revisions to employment data. So now the Fed has no choice. They have to cut rates. They can't abandon one of their core mandates.
You say, you hear what he says? They have to cut rates. They've been waiting for such a long time right now. About 7 FOMCs. It's time. It's time, guys. By the way, guess what, to all my fam? I brought them with me. We got the glasses. Oh, yes. It's an official Oscar Ramos live. The only thing I'm missing is my music. So I apologize for that. That's the only thing I'm missing. The pumps.
That mandate is to ensure maximum employment. So let's unpack the horrible, no good labor data right now. July and August, those employment data, they came in under expectations. The recent job revisions removed 900,000 jobs. Those were previously thought to have been created over the past year. Whoops. Unemployment has been slowly ticking higher, and June's data showed that there's been an outright job loss for the first time since 2020. So the picture right now in the economy is very clear. The labor market is screaming at the Fed to cut rates immediately. This now brings us to the Fed's second mandate of maintaining stable prices. Remember that concern that they had about inflation? It was dumb. We never saw the runaway inflation that they were worried about, and we are not going to see it from the tariff policies moving forward. Inflation, which is basically at 2% according to Trueflation, is telling the Fed that they have the green light to cut interest rates. I don't know if the Fed's going to listen.
Please, guys, if we get a 50 basis point cut today, Alcoin season is officially starting. Okay? If we get a 50 today, which I don't think so, but if we do, you should have wished that you bought some XRP yesterday and today before that, because the ballistic green candle that you are about to witness because of that, there has nobody seen something like that before in the entire 2025. And can somebody tell me in the comments? I demand pump music. I know, James, but I don't have my whole setup. It is what it is. But I love you guys for being here. Can somebody tell me what's happening tomorrow? In the chat right now. I told you, I made like 10,000 videos for you. What's happening tomorrow, guys? Who's gonna be? There you go. Thank you. Boca in the house. Dragonfly in the house. Gotta be legend in the house. The ETF. The first ever USA XRP spot ETF. And today we're getting a cut. You tell me if there's no more reason to be bullish. Guys, there is. There is. Send it.
But that's what inflation data is telling us. So here's the thing. There are people who are still worried that a rate cut would drive inflation to concerning levels. But these people don't realize how deflationary tariffs and artificial intelligence have been to the US economy. The Fed can cut aggressively right now and not have to worry about inflation spiking. So this brings me to how aggressive the Fed should be in the rate cut today. The market's pricing in a 25 basis point cut. That's an interest rate cut for Ant.
Wait, because my... Wait. My computer was lagging. Oh, yes, my precious. Yes. Yes. We're gonna make some money today, everybody.
In my opinion. Let's not play little kid games here. The Federal Reserve should get out the super soaker.
Let's go.
And they should cut 50 basis points and show the market they are serious about stimulating the economy. This larger cut would immediately surprise the market into a bullish position, and it would actually use their rate cut to stimulate the job market, which is really important. Companies would increase their spending on R&D. GDP would accelerate, and inflation would not increase because of the deflationary nature of tariffs and AI. You don't get the intended impact of interest rate cuts if you simply do what the market is expecting. 25 basis point cut is already priced in. The Fed needs to run a shock and awe campaign. You got to shake every nerd on Wall Street into believing that the central bank is here to stimulate activity. Cut 50 basis points. Make the press conference a fireworks show. Make people remember it forever. And send the stock market shorts crying and get the U.S. labor market.
Send the stock market shorts cry. I love that. I love that. It's really good. Bro, that means that we are absolutely going to send it to the moon and we're going to make a lot of money when it comes to our longs. So if you guys are longing right now, kudos to you. Drop a like, consider subscribing to the channel. Plus, click the first link down below right now and join me on BTCC because we're getting a bunch of awesome bonuses. You know, new users, guys, get that money right now. Join us, trade, buy before tomorrow, before today. We are looking at less than 60 minutes to go for the press conference, less than 30 minutes to go for the decision, guys. This is the place to be right now. It's now or never. It's now or never, honestly. Love you, fam. That's a good one. But once again, we gotta listen to this once again.
Good afternoon.
It's over. It's over. Shut. It's over. Cut it out. Cut it out. Good afternoon, and everyone is gonna cry. I know. All right. Let's continue finding some good. Oh, yes. Look at this one. I'm not gonna play it because it's gonna be copyright sounds, but people are just getting prepared. People are just getting prepared for a nice mega pump. Yeah. Good afternoon, and boom.
Good afternoon.
I don't know if you can tell, but his computer is all dying right there. Jerome. What is this? Great meeting today. XRP Nation, the Ripple folks did really well as they did A16Z. Lots more work to do, but great progress is being made on the bipartisan legislation being passed this year. Let's go. I believe Charles is meeting today, he's meeting up today with some people. So it's really nice. I saw him that he was all dressed up. So yeah, pretty nice that he is reaching out. Yeah, there he is. Off to Mongolia for some eagle-assisted hunting. Okay, very good. Oh man, that's so good, bro. I love it. I love it. There's gonna be a lot of great people, guys. So let's go ahead and go to. I gotta remove this one right here. I'll go to the 10 minutes. Get out. There you go. Wait. Oh, I can do 10. I can't do 10. Of course I can do 10. What is this? What? Really? Man, some of you are going to tell me right now, Oscar, get YouTube Premium and get TradingView Premium. Oh, I love you guys. You always tell me the good things that I don't want to hear. Okay, so I'm going to delete this one. But I can do 5 minutes, right? Yeah. Okay. So, Kalpesh. You got some epic chain. Let's go, brother. Thanks, buddy. Look, I'm going to go ahead and like it because I don't really have my setup back in the office, right, to do more. But I'll do that for you, buddy. Thank you so much. What's up about Boca? Good to have you, buddy. Welcome. The comments are looking good, fam. Welcome. Very happy to see you. Very happy to see you. We're going to make us some good money today. Right now, I'm not gonna get liquidated, so that's what I like to see. Question in the chat. How high you think we're gonna go? Basic question. How high? I want to see those numbers right now in the chat. How high you think we're going to go after this whole thing? I'm curious to see. Ransom says 340. I see 320. I see 5. I see 450, 430. I see 315. I see 4. I see 4 is 5, 330. Someone said 33. Okay. 350, 320, 370, 312, 360, 340 on test. I need a solid 340 today. Got it. Very good. 1,000. Okay. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. And don't you know, pump it. Come on, everybody. Can't be the only one pumping right now. I'm super old right now, you know. I'm in my 30s. Some of you, all of you are in your 20s and 10s. Come on. Everybody here is so super young. I know that. It is what it is. It's the casino. Nobody knows. I know, right? JB in the house. Always love to see. 58, you're super young. 46, you're super young. 60, you're super young. I'm the old man. It happens. Guys, we always have a good time. That's the style that we like to do always here, you know. The FOMC is going to be live today, like in probably about 20 more minutes or so. So, FY. Yeah. 69 pesos. Oh, boy. We don't like those. Let's go, baby. Okay, I want to see. Give me 1 second. I want to see. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, and don't you know? Come on, everybody. We got a lot of stickers ready for you. Got a bunch of stickers. You got to be using some. Come on. Gotta help. Okay. Looking at Ethereum. I got Ethereum. I got my XRP, of course. Who's winning? Bread is actually winning. Bonk is actually winning today. Ondo XLM. Nice. Cardano. Waking up a little bit. Okay, so many of you are telling me that we're gonna be looking at 340s. I think that was the average 340s, meaning that you're thinking a pretty decent 20 to 15% pump. Not bad. I like that. We like to see those mega pumps, you know.
My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people.
And one of the reasons that we believe he's going to actually cut big today is because of that first mandate, maximum employment. And if you remember, what we saw is that the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, cut, and they made a big revision. Negative 900 jobs. That's not good. That is why the first mandate that the Fed has, they have to wake up and do cut, because if not, this is just gonna get out of control. You feel me? What's up, Arnulfo in the house? Thank you so much and welcome. Happy to be here with you guys. Welcome. I need cheese on the table. Danger Dave in the house. Cheaper in the house too. Let's go, Cheaper. Happy to have you here, bro. Always happy to have you. No, man, this is really our time. This is our time. I mean, can we just make some good money, please? People are hungry for money. Give us some money. Come on. Ooh, Brad. Okay, Brad. I see you.
Despite elevated uncertainty, the economy is in a solid position. The unemployment rate remains low, and the labor market is at or near maximum employment.
Not really. I really want to hear because guess what? He's been saying the same thing for the last 4 or 5 FOMC meetings. I've been watching them with you every single time. You go back, he says the same thing over and over.
Inflation has been running somewhat above our 2% longer run objective. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged.
And that's when things are gonna start moving. I am so ready to hear what he's gonna say in the first 60 seconds. The first 60 seconds is exactly what's gonna matter for us. The first 60 seconds, honestly. No kidding. No kidding. Oh, great. I'm gonna do that. Looks much better. Oh, yes. So I'll just click twice and it just brings this view. I love it. Ooh, yeah. What a better view. I love it. Yay. Good. You know, I'm doing everything from my MacBook, so it's not that easy. Oh, man. Jerome about to cut some braids. Oh, yes. So, according to Polymarket, we have a 91% chance for a 25 basis point, a 7% chance for a 50 basis point, right? 3% chance for a nothing basis point. Good. Come on, everybody. I want to see you pump. We got roughly 10 more minutes to go. There he is. There's Papa Powell. There's my Austin. Everybody really ready to go. We're gonna be watching here very quickly, very nicely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. BlackRock bought 34 million in Bitcoin just before FOMC. Oh, really? Huh. 2 billion stablecoin just poured into Binance right before FOMC. 11 million in stables has flown into exchanges before FOMC. Well, 100,000 million billion. Oh boy. Billion. Wow. That's a lot. Maybe they're already live? Yeah, they're live. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. And don't you know, pump it up. They're live, they're live. Everybody, get pumped. It's happening today. There it is, September 17th. There it is, there it is. Welcome to our 3,000 people watching us from all over the world. Oscar Ramos in the house here for you. Always telling it like it is. Some people like it, some people don't. That's why you have hundreds of different content creators. But I'm always blessed and, honored to have you here. And we have a lot of money, already divested, invested, diversified. And we for sure want to become financially free. Together, we're going to get to that goal. And honestly, it all starts today. We've been waiting for 11 to 10 months after Trump won the nomination. Jerome Powell played politics. He played politics. We all know that. But a replacement is coming. A replacement is coming next year. Trump won't fire him. And when he is replaced, and we say goodbye to Jerome Powell for last, finally, by then there's a chance that we already are, much lower in the federal funds rate. And it's just going to be a nice party, guys. I think we'll have a phenomenal 2026 in terms of, clarity and more legislation, more regulation, maybe more pump. But I was making a video yesterday too, and I'll tell you that we're looking at a price of XRP much higher than today. If you ask and go around and you talk to different content creators, they're all going to tell you that XRP is not going to be $3, you know? Depends who you watch. You can watch people saying it's going to go to $20, $10, $5, or you can talk to some fudders saying, oh no, we're going to go ahead and collapse because XRP is a scam. Can you believe that? Yeah, there are some people saying XRP is a scam. If you're one of those, well, I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy to have you here. You gotta pump it and dump it. Hey, what's up, 50? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome. Let's skyrocket, of course, bro. James, I see you, buddy. Welcome. Arnulfo in the house. Bye, Powell. Yes. He's leaving. He's for sure leaving, guys. That's for sure. That's happening whether he likes it or not. Let's go to the latest on FOMC. Oh, yeah, that's us. That's us. Oh, yes, Mr. President. You see, I'm telling you, man. That's us. FOMC countdown. 8 minutes. 8 minutes to go, bro. Oh, my. 8 minutes. 8 minutes, bro. Let me go ahead and see. I need to have Bitcoin. I want to have Bitcoin. Okay, there you go. Okay. Guys, in exactly 7 more minutes. In exactly 7 more minutes. Some of us are going to get liquidated and some of us are going to be making money. I wonder who is going to get liquidated. In exactly 7 minutes, bro. Oh, man. Oh, boy. If you don't mind, guys, drop a like and consider subscribing. It always helps, for days like this. Extremely excited. What's up, Emily? Good to see you, Emily. Let's go. It's a 50-50, bro. We're going to the casino today. We're going to the casino. What are you betting? Black? Red? Let's get it, bro. Let's get it, bro. 7 minutes ago. We've been waiting months for this, bro. Look, I'll tell you this. Let's do this, right? I'm not gonna even check. Because usually I always check. Always. I always check, on because I have it here, right? But this time, no. No. I'm not gonna check. I'm just gonna watch the charts. If they go from 3.4 to 3.6 or 7, and if we go from 115 to 117, I will know the answer by then. I wouldn't need to check anymore. But if we dump like a brick, I also don't want to check because I will know the answer by then. But it's coming. I mean, I can already see the bull pennant. I can already see the XRP 5-minute bull pennant. It's there. Big energy, bro. Of course, bro, making me nervous. Come on, everybody. 5 more minutes, guys. Everybody, I want you to do something for me. I want you to spam 5 now. I want you to spam 5 now, and then we're gonna do 4, 3, 2, 1. So I want you to spam 5. Come on, everybody. You are in an Oscar Ramos live. You have to follow the rules. Go ahead and spam 5 right now, everybody here. We need to do it. Everybody. Okay, we got the 5s. Come on, everybody. Let's go. Here we go. All five. The time has come. Just 5 more minutes. 4. Goodbye 5. Now 4. Spam 4. Now we got 4. There you go. Very good. You know what's happening to my phone? The chat is lagging my phone. Like, I don't know why. It's one of those days where YouTube Live is going crazy, you know? But my live is doing well, so that's what matters. Come on, everybody. There you go. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Oh boy. We are pumping. Oh boy. We are pumping. Spam 4, spam 4, spam 4. Let me go ahead and refresh because I think this Bitcoin is okay. XRP, come on, XRP. Give it to me, XRP. Give it to me, XRP. Come on. Come on. Come on. Spam 3, spam 3, spam 3, guys. Let's go. Sounds like Oscar is about to preach. Spam 3, everybody. Let's do it. Let's do it, everybody. Come on. Don't give up on me, guys. Don't give up on me, everybody. Welcome to the 4,000 people watching us, everybody. Welcome. Oh, boy. Yeah, I see it. It's coming in. It's coming in. It's coming in. Get me that 3. Give me that 3. Give me that 3, guys. I'm seeing some green. I'm seeing some green. Come on, guys. I don't want to see a big red fat candle, please, because that's going to kill us. But get me that 3. Get me that 3. Let's go. Crypto poor in the house. Get me that 3. Get me that 3, everybody. We're making money. Right now, we're making money, guys. We're making money, but not good enough to retire. Not good enough to retire. Give me 2. Give me 2, guys. Goodbye, 3. Give me 2. Give me 2. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. It's happening today, guys. The time to make money is here. Give me a 2, guys. Give me a 2. Give me a 2, guys. 305. 306. Give me a 2, guys. Let's go. Let's go. It's happening today. It's happening today. 2, guys. Only 2. That's it. Just 2. Just 2. Welcome to the 4,000 people watching us, guys. Drop a like, everybody. You got one poll in the house. 3.06. We're pumping, everybody. We're pumping, everybody. We're pumping, everybody. Let's go. Give me a 2, guys. Give me a 2, guys. And I won 4,000 once. I won 4,000 once. I want you to explode YouTube right now. I won 4,000 once very soon. Go ahead, everybody. Go ahead. Okay, guys. 2. We got a 2. We got a 2. 1. There you go. 1, everybody. That's it. It's over. That's it. 1, everyone. Absolutely spam 1 right now. That's all you gotta do. That's it, everybody. Oh boy, I see pump. I see pump. I see pump. I see pump. I need to. I see pump. I see pump. Come on, everybody. 1. What is it gonna be? What is it gonna be? What is it gonna be? Are people getting too excited? What is it gonna be? 1. 1. Come on, everybody. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. 306. 116. 306. 106. 306. 106. 306. 306. 116. 305. 1259. Trading is crazy. Trading is crazy. Trading is crazy. 304. 115. 304. Oh! 1 p.m. 1 p.m. 1 p.m. You saw that? You saw that? You saw that? You guys saw that? Oh my goodness, bro. You saw that? No way. That's crazy. It's time. It's time. It's time. 305, 116. There it is. Let's go. What is it, guys? 25 basis. Okay, got it. 25 basis point. There it is, as expected. Guys, you saw that 306 drop into 3. Wow. Wow. What a legend. What a legend. What a legend. Wow. Let's go ahead and refresh right now, guys. Let's go ahead and refresh. 25 basis point. 25 as expected. First cut. First cut. We have received the 25 basis point cut. What a nice volatile candle that we just witnessed right now, everybody. What a nice volatile candle that we just witnessed right now. Oh boy. We're just waiting right now. We're just waiting right now, everybody. Wow. Okay, come on, everybody. Give me that pump. Give me the pump. Go, go, go. Whew. That was a candle, bro. Did you see that candle? Did you see that candle, bro? What? From 306, like, boom. That was a candle, bro. Let's go. Keep pumping. Finally, first cut. Go. Pump, pump. Come on, XRP. Come on. I want to make money. Come on. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. First cut. First cut. Fed lowers interest rates by 25 basis points, 425. Fed cuts 25 basis points, 25 basis points. There it is. The committee will continue reducing its holding of treasury securities and agency debt and agency mortgage-backed securities. Recent indicators suggest that growth of economic activity moderated in the first half of the year. Yada, 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 yada. So let's go ahead and move this one here. Let's get back to XRP. So in support of its goals and in light of the shift in the balance of risk, the committee decided to lower the target range for the federal funds rate by 1.25 percentage point to 4, which means a 25 basis point, everybody. In considering additional adjustment to target range for the federal funds rate, the committee will carefully assess incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risk. 25 basis point. That's what it means. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. That's good. That's good, brother. He did a 25 basis point cut. 25. Fed decision, 25 basis point cut. People wanted more. People wanted more. But at least it's something. I'll take something, right? I'll take something. I'll take something for sure. Something is better than nothing for sure. Yeah, I know, 50. That would have been amazing, 50. But no, we got 25. It's something, but 50. That was a goal. That was a goal for today, guys. But no worries. We got 25 minutes to go for the press conference that we're going to watch, and it's going to be good. I'm so ready. So ready, guys. Click the first link down below, guys, and join us on BTCC to start trading immediately. As now you know, you have a chance to buy 305 before it actually goes ballistic to $4. Do not wait until it's $4. Right now, you're getting a really nice discount at $3. That's the way I see it. That's why I'm buying. That's why all of my positions and all of my longs right now are green and making me money. All of them. I got 4. They're all sweet and sound because I knew that we weren't gonna get a pause. I knew that a cut was coming, and are you ready to see some pretty nice pumps? I hope you are. Hope you are, guys. That's so good. Play the music. Oh man. That's good, bro. What's up, El Galope? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome. That's the issue statement. The Fed is cutting interest rates by 25 basis points. Another mistake. They should have gone 50 basis points. Bro, I'll take something, man. I'll take something better than nothing. Come on. I know at the end of the day, we all want to see some, but your parents in their 30s. Let me buy a house. You in your 30s. I need 50 basis points. Time has changed. Time have changed, you know. It is what it is. Bitcoin is going to $10 million. Okay. I like that. I like that. Why not? That's gonna be. Can't believe it, bro. Every investor should understand how this has played out in the past.
One of the dark horse developments worth paying attention to right now, it's a change in Fed leadership that's going to happen next year.
Yep.
Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, his term ends in May of 2026. President Trump is expected to announce a successor in late 2025, this year. And that's going to create a shadow Fed chair effect as markets front-run expectations of a dovish nominee. Now, Binance Research, they do great work, and they did a deep dive into what happens in the market when a new Fed chair is announced. Historically, Fed transitions have shown a similar sequence. The market rallied when Janet Yellen was nominated in late 2013, and then the market surged higher again in 2017 when Jerome Powell was nominated. But in both cases, the market corrected and cooled off once each individual took office. First in early 2014 for Yellen and early 2018 for Powell. Now, obviously, history doesn't always repeat, but I personally wouldn't bet against it rhyming. Now, if a similar pattern holds, Trump's nominee could extend momentum into 2026. That's bullish. But May and June next year, the handover period as it's known, that may serve as a likely catalyst to the downside. So if you're an investor, stop paying attention to the soap opera.
I like that. I actually like that. That's pretty good. Thank you so much, Galope. Welcome. Thank you. I like this a lot because it makes sense. As we get a new nominee, we're going to probably see a nice rally. And before we get a new nominee, I mean, by then I can already take profits. That makes sense. I like that. I haven't seen it that way.
Of who it's going to be. Instead, pay attention to what the impact in the market is going to be. And what history is telling us is that the next couple of months should be bullish.
Yeah.
But it's next year that you're going to have to worry about.
Guys, hopefully you're listening to this, guys. I do agree with his take in this case. That is why I'm saying go long. Like, this is the time, right? This is the time to really be that bullish. Thank you, Tech Hub in the house. I'm not really going to wait on the sidelines. I would say that Q3 and Q4 are going to be really good for the market. And I don't really want to waste my time, you know? So I'm all for this. That's pretty good. I'm all for this. That's nice. Oh, yes. People are locked in and ready for what's to come. I like it, Anthony. Well done. Good take. Good take. The Fed just cut rates. The frozen housing market will start to draw open, will be a big beneficiary. Oh, I'm so ready for the housing market, bro, because we're trying to make some positions in the housing market too. A lot of people will be buying, selling, you know. That's what we want. That's what we really, really, really want. Well, the only major, candle we had right now was this one, right at the moment of the decision, where let's take a look at what the impact was. About a 2% drop. About a 2% drop that we had all of the sudden in 1 minute candle. Pretty, remarkable. Now I wonder that it's time to pump. Of course it is. Usually after the press conference, that you have to give it a few hours, and then things are start to move. They get some time for Asia to wake up, and then things are start to get ready. We should be looking at passing 310 sometime this weekend. Tomorrow with a nice ETF launch, that's also gonna help. Yep, I wanna see that for sure. I wanna see that. Namaste. What's up, buddy? Welcome. Nothing ever happens when. I mean, things do happen. We just have to be a little bit patient, a little bit patient with all these decisions. You know how things work in this crypto experience. Not much we can do other than just wait. Some DGen just bet a cool $500,000 that the Fed will cut rates by 50 basis points today. Wow, 500,000, huh? Well, they just lost that. They just lost that really well right now. Sad but true. That's what we all wanted, but it happens, guys. What's up, LFG? Let's go. Up. Ooh, Alex. Alex, I'll be able to do that in my next one because I don't really want to move much here on this computer. Alex, thank you so much for your kind donation, buddy. I appreciate that a lot. Is that a Solana token, Kronos token? What is it, buddy? Tell us, tell us. Welcome to Burger King. May I take your order? I want a nothing burger. Imagine, bro. Just joined. What's up, XX? He cut by 25 basis points. Solana token, got it. Thank you, Alex. If it's Solana, well, sounds to me that you gotta be careful of who the dev is, or if it's gonna be a rug pull or not. So just keep an eye on that. Hopefully, it's not nothing like that. Wish you the best. Bitcoin and XRP, just to name those two, are not seeing the price appreciation needed because, as people were saying, we have the price or the levels priced in. Now we're seeing 303, 115. As long as we continue that 3 for the duration of this FOMC, it's not gonna be bad. But man, we much deserve a pump right now, man. People were waiting for more things from the Fed. That's why we don't see the pump. Jimmy Valley just reposted on XCME group to launch options to Solana and XRP. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, God's Truth in the house all the way up. Let's go, buddy. Welcome. Very happy to see you here. Eric Trump, crypto role in modern finance and the Trump family, crypto vision. Thank you, ZVI. Appreciate it. We don't get a cut, we dump. We get a cut, we dump. Welcome to crypto, right? It's because the expectations that we had, that some whales had was 50. And at 50, yes, finally see some movement. But still 25 is fine. What's happening right now is just shorts and whales trying to liquidate them longs. That's what's happening right now. Don't get frustrated, guys. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. Don't feel bad. Lucky Trick, Charlie Brown, everything too. Everyone's selling. No, bro, it's all fine. It's just mere small correction right now. We're looking at the 5 minutes and the 15 minutes for Bitcoin, right? Remember. So you zoom out and you're gonna be just fine. Canada going to be cutting rates today? Yes. FOMO plus fear at the same time. Hey, no, Pastor, what's up, buddy? Welcome. XRP dumping as usual. What's wrong? Nothing is wrong. It's just that the price was already in, but you have to give it a few more hours, after the press conference, and we'll see what we want, which is a recovery, right? Finally, a new change in the Fed, and things are going to get better, especially so for those job numbers. I got to tell you, right, I've expected more pump with the first cut of the entire year, but it seems that the market is not liking what they heard from Jerome Powell in that announcement, right? But we're waiting for that press conference, and if they give us more hopes that we can have more cuts, then that's gonna be go. Don't you dump? What? Oh boy, we're getting punished. We are getting punished today, right now. Oh boy, what is this? Okay, under 3. Okay, wasn't expecting that one, but we're still good in my levels. We're getting, I know right now the comments are gonna get pretty fancy. Painting laugh. Makes no sense. Should have been 50. I can't, bro. Dumping why? Anything over 10x is risky. Yeah, I mean, I did a 10x. I'm fine. I mean, I think I'm fine. 10x should be okay. This is just whole volatility that we come in. 15 minutes to go. 15 minutes to go, guys. Talk about manipulation, right? I know. It just comes to show, guys, that when you are carefully watching the market like we do, comes to show that there's no mercy, guys. No mercy for anyone playing. Like shorts, we're praying for this. Longs, we were hoping for a 50. So we got a 25. Right? And that's not what major whales were hoping to go in and pump the bags. No, we needed that 50 to say, like, break free, finally make a statement. But it's classic too late Jerome Powell. The guy doesn't like us. He doesn't like us. I'm so happy, everyone, with their finger on the buy and sell button. Well, just let it go. Short should be banned by government. It happens, brother. It happens. We're going to be here. We're not leaving. You know that. Fed lowers rates by 25 basis points. Yes. Decided to announce my trading card game Solana. Who is she? It's time. Yep. It's time to print, but Jerome should have done 50. Should have done 50. Median projection shows 50 basis point in additional rate cuts in 2025. Of course, it's going to be 25-25. Yeah. However, nothing is certain as 6 Fed officials see no more rate cuts. You are absolutely out of your mind. You're absolutely out of your mind. 6 Fed officials see no more rate cuts in 2025? Who are those 6? But 9 Fed officials still predict 2 more rate cuts. Of course we want more rate cuts. Of course. Imagine, fam. No more rate cuts? No way. We're basically back at the level we started, guys. 302. We're back. We're literally back. Wow. I'm like, can we maybe have a much bigger price because of what's going on? Come on, like, give us something, right? Help us. Help us be a little bit more bullish. Help us feel that we're making big progress, you know? Why not, everybody? Nope. It's like, suffer a little bit, and after you suffer a little bit, then maybe I'm going to give you some pump. 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes to go, guys. Almost there. This time I got some cookies. So, because sometimes I'm hungry. Shout out to you guys. Welcome, wherever you guys are watching us from. Oscar here. We've been live for maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. And we're very happy you are joining us today. Let us know in the comments what you're feeling. I know some of you exactly how you're feeling, but it is what it is. Not much we can do, right? 302, 302. Excited, guys. It's exactly what we're expecting to do. Rob in the house. Welcome, Rob. Welcome. Cryptos are us for sure, right here. I'm gonna get those latest one. Breaking the Fed cuts 25, yes. Where's our pump? The Fed capitulated because they were wrong about their financial prediction. Anthony is going at it. He's going at it. Here's the Fed projection policy. Wow. Yep. Basically every single one Fed Fed says Governor Miran dissents in favor of a half-point cut. Man, just do it, bro. Just do it. Trump family crypto empire. Yeah, of course. 301. 301, it happens. How long left? We're going to have about nine more minutes. 9 more minutes for this incoming FOMC conference to watch Papa Powell. But that was so cool, bro. How it was just like 306. Like, you saw that? I knew there was going to be a correction because that's the way they love to see it, right? They pump your hopes up and then they throw you like garbage. Boom, down. It was too good to be true. But you notice that we just went from 306 to 302. It was literally nothing, guys. We pumped 1%. It's nothing. So I think we're doing fine. We're doing really fine. Not much to be concerned about right now. Just let it go to 310 and then that's what we're talking about. We're not at all concerned to what's going on right now. Just times ahead that you are going to wish you bought more. Now, we're seeing some green candle. Volume is coming in. Why don't we go ahead and get the volume right now? Get the volume, get the volume. Volume. Look at that, look at that. I'm showing you the volume right here for XRP. I like to see that green for sure. And BTC, just on the side. Not much. 7 minutes to go for the conference. I'm excited. This conference might take longer than expected. So go ahead and grab some nice drinks or whatever you want, because we're going to stay here for a while till the end of the conference. I'm not leaving, guys. I'm not leaving at all before it ends. But yeah, I know. Am I the only one disappointed that we didn't have a big pump? I think I'm not the only one, you know. Hey, brother, thanks for everything you do. But where's the music? Mr. Jazz, I'm not in my studio, brother. I'm not in my office. I'm at work. So, yeah, I still have a job. Not for long, though. But once I go back to the office, that's when I got all my setup. But thank you. Thank you for asking. Ghost. I need the music too. I need the music too. Oscar, sell, don't buy. Don't sell, don't buy. Sell, don't buy. Any resemblance to reality is pure. Bro, DJ Ramos in the house. You know me, bro. You know me. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit something just really quick, okay? Because this is where I'm, guys. This is where I'm watching your comments, right, from my phone. But just because it's a good day, whatever, right? And we have about 4 minutes to go or 5 minutes to go. Hopefully you like this. Can you hear this? Send it. Send it. Pump it. Send it. We tried a little bit. Why not?
Just really quick, okay? Because this is where I'm
Wow, I just noticed
trying
it.
a little.
I just noticed that it was a pretty good volume. That's nice. You know that when you're subscribed and we are back at home, we go crazy on all the levels. So appreciate that a lot. Guys, 3 minutes to go. You know what to do, guys. Let us know in the comments. Drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. And we're about to witness Mr. Jerome Powell. Too late. Can somebody go ahead and check Truth Social, please? I'm sure that he's going to say something. So I want to see what Trump says. Can somebody check Truth Social? Is there anything new there for us to watch? Truth Social. Sure that some of you can take a look at that one. Michael Saylor highlights the changes. USA, nothing so far. Okay. USA. It's coming in. Checked a minute ago. Got it. Thank you, Riddle. Appreciate it. You're like, I already checked. 304. Bring it, baby. Bring it. Perfect. All right. We're live. We're ready. Everybody's prepared. We got the music. We got the tunes. Send it. Absolutely send it. Hey, look at this. Look at this. The man, the myth, the legend. Mr. Donald J. Trump and King Charles. Good to see them. Good to see them. All right. We're going to close this one. Perfect. Perfect. All right, guys, we're ready. We are absolutely ready to go. 1 minute to go, guys. There it is. The time has come. As expected, I'm going to go mute myself, and you and I will watch for as long as it takes, 2:30 p.m. East. Previous FOMC was July the 30th. Now it's going to be September 17th. He cuts by 25 basis, and there he is. Enjoy. 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 There it is. Price of XRP, 303. Let's see where it ends today. You got it. It's all ready. It's all checked. There he goes.
Good afternoon. My colleagues and I remain employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. While the unemployment rate remains low, it has edged up. Job gains have slowed and downside risks to employment have risen. At the same time, inflation has risen recently and remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals and in light of the shift in the balance of risks, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by a 0.25 percentage point. We also decided to continue to reduce our securities holdings. I'll have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Recent indicators suggest that growth of economic activity has moderated. GDP rose at a pace of around 1.5% in the first half of the year, down from 2.5% last year. The moderation in growth largely reflects a slowdown in consumer spending. In contrast, business investment in equipment and intangibles has picked up from last year's pace. Activity in the housing sector remains weak. In our summary of economic projections, the median participant projects GDP to rise 1.6% this year and 1.8% next year. The housing sector remains.
All right, let me check.
Projections.
We'll go ahead and refresh.
0.3% in August, but remains little changed over the past year at a relatively low level. Payroll job gains have slowed significantly to a pace of just 29,000 per month over the past 3 months. A good part of the slowing likely reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force due to lower immigration and lower labor force participation. Even so, labor demand has softened, and the recent pace of job creation appears to be running below the break-even rate needed to hold the unemployment rate constant. In addition, wage growth has continued to moderate while still outpacing inflation. Overall, the marked slowing in both the supply of and demand for workers is unusual. In this less dynamic and somewhat softer labor market, the downside risks to employment appear to have risen. In our SEP, the median projection for the unemployment rate is 4.5% at the end of this year and edges down thereafter. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.7% over the 12 months ending in August, and that, excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.9%. These readings are higher than earlier in the year as inflation for goods has picked up. In contrast, disinflation appears to be continuing for services. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up, on balance, over the course of this year on news about tariffs, as reflected in both market and survey-based measures. Beyond the next year or so, however, most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation is 3.0% this year and falls to 2.6% in 2026 and to 2.1% in 2027. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to lower the target range for the federal funds rate by a quarter percentage point to 4 to 4.25%, and to continue reducing the size of our balance sheet. Changes to government policies continue to evolve, and their effects on the economy remain uncertain. Higher tariffs have begun to push up prices in some categories of goods, but their overall effects on economic activity and inflation remain to be seen. A reasonable base case is that the effects on inflation will be relatively short-lived, a one-time shift in the price level. But it is also possible that the inflationary effects could instead be more persistent, and that is a risk to be assessed and managed. Our obligation is to ensure that a one-time increase in the price level does not become an ongoing inflation problem. In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside, a challenging situation. When our goals are in tension like this, our framework calls for us to balance both sides of our dual mandate. With downside risks to employment having increased, the balance of risks has shifted. Accordingly, we judged it appropriate at this meeting to take another step toward a more neutral policy stance. With today's decision, we remain well positioned to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments. We will continue to determine the appropriate stance of monetary policy based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. In our SEP, FOMC participants wrote down their individual assessments of an appropriate path for the federal funds rate, based on what each participant judges to be the most likely scenario for the economy. The median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 3.6% at the end of this year, 3.4% at the end of 2026, and 3.1% at the end of 2027. This path is 1/4 percentage point lower than projected in June. As is always the case, these individual forecasts are subject to uncertainty, and they're not a committee plan or decision. Policy is not on a preset course. The Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission, and we at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you. I look forward to our discussion.
Great. Thank you. Chris Rugaber at Associated Press. As you know, Fed Governor Stephen Myron has kept his position at the White House, even as he's joined the Fed board. This is the first time, I believe, the Fed's board has had someone with executive branch ties in decades. Does this compromise the Fed's independence from day-to-day politics? And relatedly, how can you maintain the public's perception the Fed is politically independent with this dynamic? Thank you.
So we did welcome a new committee member today, as we always do, and the committee remains united in pursuing our dual mandate goals. We're strongly committed to maintaining our independence, and beyond that, I really don't have anything to share.
Oh, really?
Okay, and then just as a quick follow-up, I'm sorry, can you and other Fed officials have spoken extensively about the impact of tariffs on inflation, although perhaps with many companies appearing to eat the tariffs, tariffs may be impacting the labor market and other parts of the economy instead. Do you see that as a possible outcome here, that tariffs are the reason we're seeing some slowing, particularly in the labor market, rather than in inflation? Thank you.
You know, it's certainly possible. You know, we're beginning to see, we have begun to see goods prices showing through into higher inflation, and actually the increase in goods prices accounts for most of the increase in inflation, or perhaps all of the increase in inflation over the course of this year. Those are not very large effects at this point, and we do expect them to continue to build over the course of the rest of the year and into next year. And you know, it's also possible that there may be effects on employment, but that I would say if you're looking at why employment is doing what it's doing, that's much more about the change in immigration. So the supply of workers has obviously come way down. There's very little growth, if any, in the supply of workers. And at the same time, demand for workers has also come down quite sharply, and to the point where we see what I've called a curious balance. It's, you know, typically when we say things are in balance, that sounds good, but in this case, the balance is because both supply and demand have come down quite sharply. Now demand coming down a little more sharply because we now see the unemployment rate edging up.
Nick Timmerosa, the Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, do economic conditions and the balance of risks no longer warrant a restrictive policy setting?
So I don't think we can say that. What we can say is this, that over the course of this year, we've kept our policy at a restrictive level, and people have different views, but a clearly restrictive level, I would say. So, and we were able to do that over the course of this year because the labor market was in very solid condition with strong job creation and all those things. I think if you go back to April and now look at the revised job creation numbers for May, June, July, and August, I can no longer say that. So what that means is that the risks were clearly tilted toward inflation. I would say they're moving toward equality. Maybe they're not quite out of equality. We don't need to know that. But we do know that they've moved meaningfully toward greater equality, the risks between the two goals, and that suggests that we should be moving in the direction of neutral, and that's what we did today.
Under what circumstances would a larger than 25 basis points rate cut be warranted? And how seriously was that option entertained at your meeting this week?
There wasn't widespread support at all for a 50 basis point cut today. I think we've done very large rate hikes and very large rate cuts in the last 5 years, and you tend to do those at a time when you feel that policy is out of place and needs to move quickly to a new place. That's not at all what I feel certainly now. I feel like our policy has been doing the right thing so far this year. I think we were right to wait and see how tariffs and inflation and the labor market evolved. I think we're now reacting to the much lower level of job creation and other evidence of softening in the labor market, and saying, well, those risks are maybe not fully balanced, but moving in the direction of balance now. And so that warrants a change in policy.
Colby Smith with the New York Times. Should we be viewing today's cut as the committee taking out some insurance against the possibility that the labor market is at risk of weakening? Or is it the committee's view that the dynamics of a downturn are already in place? I guess I'm just trying to square the shift in the rate forecast in the SEP towards more cuts than just 3 months ago, with the fact that the forecast for unemployment didn't change.
Yeah, I think you could think of this in a way as a risk management cut, because if you look at the SEP, actually, the projections for growth this year and next actually ticked up just a little bit, and inflation and unemployment didn't really move much. So what's different now? What's different now is that you see a very different picture of the risks to the labor market. You've seen, we were looking at 150,000 jobs a month at the time of the last meeting, and now we see the revisions and we see the new numbers. And I don't want to put too much emphasis on payroll job creation, but it's just one of the things that suggests that the labor market is really cooling off. And that tells you that it's time to take that into account in our policy.
So just looking at the SEP, once again, the median participant has inflation higher than previously expected by the end of next year, and the Fed not getting back to the 2% target until 2028. So I guess I'm just wondering how you characterize the risk to price pressures of kicking off a series of cuts at this point.
Yeah, so I would look at it this way. We fully understand and appreciate that we need to remain fully committed to restoring 2% inflation on a sustained basis, and we will do that. At the same time, we've got to weigh the risks to the two goals. And I would say since April, to me, the risks of higher and more persistent inflation have probably become a little less. And that's partly because the labor market has softened, GDP growth has slowed. So I would just say that the risks there have been less than one might think. And in terms of the labor market, what we're seeing is unemployment is still low. It's still a relatively low rate, but we're seeing downside risks.
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Radio and Television. I'm a little confused by your explanation of the Fed cutting rates because of unemployment. If you think that most of what's happening in the employment area is related to immigration, which your rate cuts wouldn't address, how do you see that as more important than inflation, which has remained almost a full percentage point above your target?
Well, I was saying that what's happening in the labor market has more to do with immigration than it has to do with tariffs. That was the question I was answering. So I wouldn't say that all of what's happening in the labor market is due to tariffs. I mean, you clearly have a slowing in it due to immigration. You clearly have a slowing in demand, which is now perhaps more than that in supply, and we know that because the unemployment rate has ticked up. So, that's what I meant by that.
I think a follow-up. Every year since 2015, the SEP has forecast that you would hit your target 2 years later. And this year, this SEP says you're going to hit your target 2 years later. 2% does not seem to be in sight. Does that suggest that the 2% target is not really achievable? And does this present any credibility problems for you in telling people that that's what you're going to do if you can never reach it?
Well, I mean, you're right. It does say we're going to get to 2% inflation in 2028, at the end of 28. But that's literally how you put the projections together. You're writing down a rate path, which is designed to create, over the course of the SEP time frame, 2% inflation and maximum employment too. So that's all that is. No one really knows where the economy will be in 3 years, but the nature of the exercise is to write down policy that you believe would return to the 2% goal over at least by the end of the exercise.
Thanks so much, Elizabeth Schulze with ABC News. The latest inflation report shows that prices are still going up across key categories for many households, including groceries. What will the Fed do if prices pick up more?
So our expectation, and you can see this consistently through the year, has been that inflation will move up this year, but that basically because of the effects on goods prices from tariffs, but that those will turn out to be a one-time price increase as opposed to creating an inflationary process. That's been our forecast. Pretty much all the individual forecasts say that. We can't just assume that, though, right? We have to. Our job is literally to make sure that that is what happens, and we will do that job. Right now, the situation we're in is that we see inflation. We continue to expect it to move up, maybe not as high as we would have expected it to move up a few months ago. The pass-through of the tariffs into inflation has been slower and smaller. The labor market has softened. So the case for there being a persistent inflation outbreak is less. And so that's why we think it's time for us really to acknowledge that the risks to the other mandate have grown and that we should move in the direction of neutral. So what will we do? We'll do what we need to do, but we have two mandates and we try to balance them. For a long time, our framework says that when our two goals are in tension, this is quite an unusual situation, how do we decide what to do? Because our tools can't do two things at once. What we do is we ask which is farther from, how far is each from the goal and how long is it expected to get to the goal? So, and then we think about those things and we see, as I mentioned, our policy had been really skewed toward inflation for a long time, really. Now we see that there's downside risk clearly in the labor market, and so we're moving in the direction of more neutral policy.
How concerned are you about the slowdown in the jobs market for households at home, especially younger Americans struggling to land a job?
So it's an interesting labor market, and obviously we think it's appropriate that we reduce our rates so that we become more neutral, which presumably will be better for the labor market. You see people who are sort of more at the margins, so kids coming out of college and younger people, minorities are having a hard time finding jobs. The overall job finding rate is very, very low. However, the layoff rate is also very low. So you've got a low firing, low hiring environment, and the concern is that if you start to see layoffs, the people who are laid off there won't be a lot of hiring going on. So that could very quickly flow into higher unemployment. In a healthier economy, healthier labor market, there would be jobs for those people. But now the hiring rate is very, very low. So that's been a growing concern over the last few months. And it's one of the reasons why we think it's appropriate that we begin to shift our policy focus toward a more balanced one.
Steve Leisman, CNBC. Mr. Chair, in the past, during rate cuts, you used the word recalibration. And I wonder if you pointedly did not use it this time. And in fact, when you said policy is not on a preset course, did you mean that as sort of the opposite of recalibration? Are we meeting to meeting, data point by data point? Are we in the process here of getting back to neutral? Thank you.
So I think we're in a meeting by meeting situation. We're going to be looking at the data. Let me say a word about the SEP really here. So we often point this out. What the SEP is it's an accumulation of the individual projections of 19 people, showing what they believe at a particular moment in time to be the most likely path for the economy and thus the appropriate path for monetary policy as well. And as you know, we don't debate or try to agree on what that is. We just write them down and accumulate them. We do sometimes discuss them. And so we always say we're not on a preset path, and we really mean that. The actual decisions we make are going to be based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks at the time the decisions are actually made. So you will have seen that we have 10 participants out of 19 who wrote down 2 or more cuts for the remainder of the year, and 9 who wrote down fewer than, in fact, in a good number of cases, no more cuts. So rather than looking at this as certainty, I would encourage people, as always, to look at the SEP as through the lens of probability. And so there are different possible outcomes and likelihoods rather than this one is certain and this one isn't happening. So that's what I would say.
Thank you for getting to my follow-up question, which was, is the dispersion in the outlook a sign of uncertainty of policy in the meetings to come? Thank you.
You know, it is such an unusual situation. Ordinarily, when the labor market is weak, inflation is low. And when the labor market is really strong, that's when you got to be careful about inflation. So we have a situation where we have two-sided risk. And that means there's no risk-free path. And so it's quite a difficult situation for policymakers. And it's not at all surprising to me that you have a range of views. It's not so much about having different views for the path of the economy, but it's partly that. But it's also partly about what's the right thing to do in light of the tension between the two goals. How do you weight them? How worried are you about one versus the other? And so it's natural. I think it would actually be surprising if you didn't have a pretty wide range of views based, in this kind of highly unusual situation, and we do. So, but we get together, we discuss, we have a great discussion, and then we decide what to do and we act. But you're right that it's a wide dispersion of views, and I think that's understandable and natural in the current situation.
Hi, Victoria Guida with Politico. You've talked a lot about Fed independence and the importance of it over the years, but as markets have questions about what exactly President Trump's intentions are with the Fed, what would you point to as the things they should be watching to determine that the Fed is still making decisions based on, the economic outlook rather than political considerations?
Look, it's deeply in our culture to do our work based on the incoming data and never consider anything else. That's just everybody who's at the Fed really feels strongly about that way. So, you'll know it by the way we talk about what we're doing, by the speeches that people give, by the decisions that we make. You'll know that we're just still going to do that. That's all we do. And we don't frame these questions at all or see them in terms of political outcomes. I think when you get to another part of Washington, everything is seen through the lens of, does it help or hurt this political party, this politician? That's the framework. And I think people find it hard to believe that is not at all the way we think about things at the Fed. We're taking a longer perspective. We're trying to, serve the American people as best we can. So I think you would be able to tell. I don't believe we'll ever get to that place. I would say we're doing our work exactly as we always have now. And people they're making their arguments, and we're having a great discussion around these challenging issues. So,
do you see the court case around Lisa Cook as being related to questions of Fed independence?
I see it as a court case that it would be inappropriate for me to comment on.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Edward Lawrence from Fox Business. So we saw the preliminary benchmark revisions down 911,000. The revisions for June were the first negative revisions we've seen since December of 2020. How can the Fed base important decisions on rate and what to do with the interest rates on data that seems to be, as you've called it in the past, noisy?
So on the QCEW, the revision that we saw was almost exactly what we expected. It was amazing how close the expectation was. So, and the reason for that is, for the last bunch of quarters, there's been almost a predictable overcount. And I think the Bureau of Labor Statistics really does understand this, and they're working hard to fix it. It's got to do, of course, it has something to do with low response rates, but it's also got to do with what's called the birth-death model, because a good amount of job creation happens around new companies, and how many go out of business, how many are founded. And it's just really hard. You can't survey for that. You've got to have a model that predicts that. And it's quite difficult to do, especially when the economy is undergoing big changes. So, and they've been working on that and are making progress on it. But The data we get is still well good enough for us to do our work. To the extent we have issues around data right now, it's about low response rates. That's happened all over really. Response rates are just lower to surveys now, both in and out of the government. And it's no great secret. We want higher response rates, and we need those to have, less volatile data. And the way to get that is to make sure that the agencies that collect the data have sufficient resources to drive higher response rates. It's not a complicated problem, but that's what it takes. It's not a mystery. That's what it takes. The other thing I'll say, Edward, is in the case of the job creation, the response rate is quite low for the first month, or lower for the first month. By the time you get to the second or third month, you're still collecting responses for that last month, for that prior month. And you get to the place where the data are much more reliable by the second and certainly the third month. So it's not that we don't get the data, it's just that we get it a little later.
But for the benchmarks, if that holds, it's 51% of the jobs that we thought were there weren't really there. It shows a weaker job market coming into this year. If you had had that information, would it have changed your mind related to where the interest rates should be? Should there have been a cut earlier?
We have to live life looking through the windshield rather than the rearview mirror, as you know. And all I can tell you is we see where we are now, and we take appropriate action, and we took that appropriate action today.
Thanks. Howard Schneider with Reuters. So as you mentioned a minute ago, some margins of the job market would suggest that the slide's already happening. A black unemployment rate in August was above 7%, declining work week, difficulty among college graduates finding work, rising youth unemployment. Why do you think a quarter percentage point now is going to arrest that?
Well, I didn't say that I thought a quarter point would make a huge difference to the economy, but you've got to look at the whole path of rates, right? And the market's has already been baking in expectations. I mean, our market works through expectations, right? So I think our policy path really does matter. And I think it's important that we use our tools to support the labor market when we do see signs like that. I did mention that, you see minorities, unemployment going up, you see younger people who are more vulnerable economically, more susceptible to economic cycles. That's one of the reasons, in addition to just overall lower payroll job creation, that shows you that at the margin, the labor market is weakening. I would also point to labor force participation. Some part of the significant decline in labor force participation over the last year has probably been cyclical in nature rather than just the usual aging process. So we put all those together, and we see that the labor market is softening, and we don't need it to soften anymore, don't want it to. So we use our tools, and it starts with a 25 basis point rate cut, but the market's also pricing in a rate path. I'm not blessing what the market's doing at all. I'm just saying it's not just one action.
As a follow-up to that, the growth mix right now seems very concentrated in investment and on the consumer spending side in the higher income groups. Do you feel that that's an unsustainable mix for the economy moving forward?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, you're right. Those are two. We're getting unusually large amounts of economic activity through the AI build out and corporate investment. I don't know how long that will go on. No one does. In terms of spending, you saw that the consumer spending numbers were well above expectations, and that may well be skewed toward higher earning consumers. There's a lot of anecdotal evidence to suggest that. Nonetheless, it's spending. So, I mean, I think the economy is moving along. Economic growth is going to be 1.5% or better this year, maybe a little better. Forecasts have been coming up, as you can see. So, labor market unemployment is low, but downside risks, but it's still a low unemployment rate. So, that's how we see it.
Hi, Stephanie Rule, MSNBC. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said that the Federal Reserve suffers from mission creep and institutional bloat. He's now calling for an independent review. Would you support an independent review, or are you open to any sort of reform in any areas of the Fed?
I of course, I'm not going to comment on anything the secretary says or really any other officer says. So in terms of reform at the Fed, we just went through a lengthy and I think very successful process of updating our monetary policy framework. I would say there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes around the assets we have in the Federal Reserve Bank system, Federal Reserve system, and at the board. Are they the right size? We're actually going through a 10% headcount reduction through the whole Fed, including the board and all the reserve banks. The employment at the Fed at the end of that will be basically at the same level it was more than 10 years ago. So we will have had zero job growth for more than a decade when we're finished with that, and I think we'll probably do more than that. So I think we're certainly open to constructive criticism and ways to do our jobs better.
But not an independent review?
We're certainly open to always trying to do better.
Revision.
Mr. Chairman, Neil Irwin with Axios. There's been some debate lately on whether AI is already starting to affect the labor market in terms of lower labor demand, higher productivity by contrast. Do you buy that? And if that is true, does that have implications for the monetary policy setting?
So there's great uncertainty around that. I think my view, which is also a bit of a guess, but widely shared, I think, is that you are seeing some effects, but it's not the main thing driving it. And so particular focus on young people coming out of college. And yeah, there may be something there. It may be that companies or other institutions that have been hiring younger people right out of college are able to use AI more than they had in the past. That may be part of the story. It's also part of the story, though, that job creation more broadly has slowed down. The economy has slowed down. And so it's probably a number of things. But yeah, it's probably a factor. Hard to say how big it is.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. What evidence do you see of tariffs showing up in inflation?
Well, if you can take goods, just sort of the broad goods category, and last year, goods inflation was negative. If you go back 25 years, that was the typical thing, was that goods inflation was, goods prices generally went down, even adjusting for quality. So that was not the case during the pandemic, of course. Goods inflation went very high, but we had essentially returned to zero or slightly negative inflation. Now, I think goods inflation over the course of the past year is 1.2%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a big change. So we think, analysts have different views, but we think it's contributing, 0.3 or 0.4, something like that, to the current core PCE inflation reading, which is 2.9%. So it's contributing. What seems to be happening is that, the tariffs are mostly not being paid by exporters, mostly being paid by really the companies that sit between the exporter and the consumer. So if you buy something and you sell it through retail or you use it to make a product, you're probably taking a lot of those costs on and not able to pass it fully along to the consumer yet. That appears to be what we're seeing. All of those companies and entities in the middle, they'll tell you that they have every intention of passing that through in time, but they're not doing that now. To the consumer, the pass-through has been pretty small. It's been slower and smaller than we thought. But the evidence is it's very clear that there's some pass-through.
I also wanted to ask if you could share with us the conditions under which you might consider leaving the Fed in May.
I have nothing new on that for you today.
Oh.
Hi, Katerina Saraiva with Bloomberg News. I just wanted to follow up on one of your answers just a couple minutes ago. We've often heard you talk about how you and your colleagues, do not think about politics. This does not enter the room. But one of your new colleagues does come from this world, right, where everything is seen through this framework of politics and of what party is being helped, and that person is still employed by the White House. how can markets and the public interpret, some of his speeches, for example, and then some of, the forecasts that we see today? I mean, the median for this year was moved because of the introduction of his forecast. I'm talking about the number of rate cuts seen this year. What do you say to markets and the public that are trying to interpret, what you guys are saying?
So there's 12 vote, 19 participants of whom 12 vote, as you know, on a rotating basis. So no one voter, can really, the only way for any voter to really move things around is to be incredibly persuasive. And the only way to do that in the context in which we work is to make really strong arguments based on the data and one's understanding of the economy. That's really all that matters. And that's how it's going to work. And I think that is the way the institution, if that's in the DNA of the institution, that's not going to change.
And then I wanted to ask about a Gallup poll that showed that Americans now have more confidence in the president than the Federal Reserve when it comes to doing what's right for the economy. Why do you think that is, and what's your response? What's your message to the public?
Our response is we're going to do everything we can to use our tools to achieve the goals that Congress has given us, and we're not going to get distracted by anything. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep doing our jobs.
Claire Jones, Financial Times. Given the range of views expressed prior to the meeting, I think there was a lot less dissent today than a lot of people expected. It'd be good to know just what you think the drivers were of coming to that very strong consensus in the meeting, and also on the flip side to just explain why the dot plots are really so scattered between, someone even expecting rates to end up higher by the end of the year to 5 cuts. I mean, what were the kind of range of views you had about, on one side, why there was so much support for a cut today, and on the flip side, why there's so much divergence about what comes next?
So I think there's quite a wide assessment that the situation has changed with respect to the labor market. Whereas we could still say, and did say in July, at the time of the July meeting, that the labor market was in solid condition, and we could point to 150,000 jobs per month and many other things. I think that the new data that we've had, and it's not just payrolls, it's other things as well, suggests that there really is meaningful downside risk. I said there was downside risk then, but I think that downside risk is now a reality, and there's clearly more downside risk. So I think that's broadly accepted. And so that meant different things for different people. Some wrote down, almost everyone wrote down, supported this cut. And some supported more cuts and some didn't, as you will see from the dot plot. So that's just the way it is. I mean, people have, you have people who take this work very seriously, think about it all the time, do their work, discuss it with our colleagues. We endlessly discuss this between ourselves, and then we have a meeting where we put it all out on the table, and this is what you get. And you're right, there's a range of views in the dots, and I think that's, like I said, very unsurprising given the quite unusual, historically unusual nature of the challenges that we face. But let's remember, though, the unemployment rate's 4.3%. The economy's growing at 1.5%. So it's not a bad economy or anything like that. We've seen much more challenging economic times. But from a policy standpoint, the standpoint of what we're trying to accomplish, it's challenging to know what to do. There are, as I mentioned earlier, there are no risk-free paths now. It's not incredibly obvious what to do. So we have to keep our eye on inflation. At the same time, we cannot ignore and must keep our eye on maximum employment, which is those are our two equal goals. And you will see that there's a range of views on what to do. Nonetheless, we came together today at the meeting and acted with a high degree of unity.
Thank you. Archie Hall from The Economist. You mentioned earlier that job creation was running below your guess at its break-even rate. I'd be curious to hear a bit more about that and where you think the break-even rate is.
So there are many different ways to calculate it, and none of them is perfect. But it's clearly come way down. You could say it's somewhere between 0 and 50,000, and you'd be right or wrong. I mean, there's just many different ways to do it. So wherever it was, 150,000, 200,000 a few months ago, it's come down quite significantly, and that's because a very lower amount of people are joining the labor force. The labor force really not growing much at this point, and that's a lot of where the supply of labor was coming from over the last 2 or 3 years. So we're not getting that now. We've got much lower demand. It's interesting that supply and demand have really come down together so far, except now we do have unemployment ticking up just one tick outside of the range where it's been for a year. 4.3% is still a low level, but I think this speedy decline in both supply and demand has certainly gotten everyone's attention.
Follow up, if I may. You mentioned the downside risk to employment a fair amount, but it's striking that measures of kind of activity and output for the third quarter, those that we have, seem pretty strong. The Atlanta Fed's GDP now is very strong. You mentioned strong PCE numbers as well. How do you square those things? Is there a chance actually could be upside risk to the labor market if those activity measures are right?
Well, that would be great. We'd love that to happen. So I don't know that you see a big tension there, but it's gratifying to see that economic activity is holding in, and it's a good bit from consumption. It looks like consumption was stronger than expected. What we got earlier this week, I guess. And also we're getting a fairly narrow sector is producing a lot of economic activity, which is the AI build out and business investment. So we watch all of it, and I would say we did move up the median for growth for this year. Actually moved up in the SEP between the June and September SEPs. So, and really the inflation and labor market didn't change much. It's really the risks that we're seeing to the labor market that were the focus of today's decision.
Nicole. Hi, Nicole Goodkind with Barron's. Thank you for taking my question. Given the cumulative impact of high interest rates on the housing sector, I'm wondering how concerned you are that current rate levels are exacerbating housing affordability issues and potentially hindering household formation and wealth accumulation for a segment of the population?
Housing is an interest-sensitive activity, so it's at the very center of monetary policy. When the pandemic hit and we cut rates to zero, the housing companies were incredibly grateful, and it was really, they said that was the only thing that kept them going, was that we cut so aggressively and provided credit and things like that, and they were able to finance because we did that. The other side of that is when inflation gets high and we raise rates, and you're right, it does burden the housing industry, and so rates have come down a bit, and as that happens, we don't set mortgage rates, but our policy rate changes do tend to affect mortgage rates. And that has been happening, and that'll of course raise demand. Lower borrowing rates for builders will help, builders will help supply, and so some of that should happen. I think most analysts think that it would have to be pretty big changes for it to matter a lot, for the big changes in rates to matter a lot for the housing sector. And the other thing is by achieving maximum employment and price stability, that's a strong economy. That's a good economy for housing. And then the last thing I'll say is, there's a deeper problem here. There's not a cyclical problem that the Fed can address, and that just is a pretty much nationwide housing shortage. Or a lot of places in the country just don't have enough housing for people, and all of the areas around metropolitan areas like Washington, for example, are very built up, and so you're having to build farther and farther out, and so that's where it is.
And just a quick follow-up, during the last SEP, or the press conference following the last SEP, you seemed to indicate that policymakers lacked conviction about their projections, and I'm wondering if you still feel that way.
Forecasting is very difficult even in placid times, and as I've mentioned before, forecasters are a humble lot with much to be humble about. So I think right now is a particularly challenging time, even more uncertain than usual. And so I don't know any forecaster anywhere, really. Ask any of the forecasters whether they have great confidence in their forecast right now. I think they'll honestly say no.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Jennifer Schonberger with Yahoo Finance. If you're cutting rates, why continue to reduce the size of your balance sheet, then pause the unwinding?
Well, I think we're cutting the size of our balance sheet quite marginally now. As you know, with the balance sheet, we're still in an abundant reserves condition, and we've said that we would stop somewhat above an ample reserves level. That's where we are, and we're getting closer to that. We're monitoring it very carefully. We don't think that has at all significant macroeconomic effects. These are pretty small numbers moving around inside a giant economy. The level of runoff is not very large, so I wouldn't attribute macroeconomic consequences to that at this point.
And at his recent confirmation hearing, Stephen Myron brought up that the Fed actually has 3 mandates from Congress, not just jobs and stable prices, but also moderate long-term interest rates. So what does Congress mean by moderate long-term interest rates? How should we understand that when we see the 10-year Treasury moving? And how do you think about this part of the mandate when policy choices like rate cuts or balance sheet reductions affect the long end of the yield curve?
So we always think of it as the dual mandate, maximum employment and price stability, for a long time, because we think moderate long-term interest rates are something that will result from stable inflation, low and stable inflation, and maximum employment. So we haven't thought about that for a very long time as a third mandate that requires independent action. So that's where that is. And there's no thought of, as far as I'm concerned, there's no thought of considering that we somehow incorporate that in as something in a different way.
Thanks, Chair Powell. Matt Egan from CNN. We recently learned that average FICO credit scores are down this year by 2 points, the most since 2009 during the Great Recession, and delinquencies are high for car loans, personal loans, credit cards. How concerned, if at all, are you about the health of consumer finances, and do you expect today's cut will help?
So, we're aware of that. I think default rates have been kind of ticking up, and we do watch that. They're not at a level, I don't believe they're at a level where overall they're terribly concerning, but it is something that we watch. Lower rates should support economic activity. I don't know that one rate cut will have, a visible effect on that, but over time, a strong economy with a strong labor market is what we're aiming for, and stable prices. So that should help.
Just to follow up, this rate cut is coming at a time when the stock market is at or near all-time highs, and some valuation metrics are elevated historically. Is there a risk that cutting rates could overheat financial markets, potentially fueling a bubble?
We're tightly focused on our goals, right? And our goals are maximum employment and price stability. And so we take the actions that we take with an eye on those goals. Separately, and that's why we did what we did today. Separately, we monitor financial stability very, very carefully. And, I would say it's a mixed picture, but households are in good shape, banks are in good shape. Overall, households are still in good shape in the aggregate. And I know that people at the lower end of the income spectrum are under pressure, obviously. But from a financial stability perspective, we monitor that picture. We don't have a view that there's a right or wrong level of asset prices for any particular financial asset, but we monitor the whole picture, really looking for structural vulnerabilities, and I would say those are not elevated right now.
Jean, we'll go to you for the last question.
Hi, Chair Powell. Jean Young with MNI Market News. I wanted to ask about inflation expectations. You've said the Fed can't take the stability of inflation expectations for granted. You mentioned at the short run they've gone up a little bit. I wonder if you can talk a bit about that. And then also at the long run, wondering, do you see evidence that the debate over Fed independence and the growing deficit is putting pressure on inflation expectations?
So as you said, shorter-term inflation expectations have tended to respond to near-term inflation. So if inflation goes up, inflation expectations will predict that it takes just a little while to get back down. Fortunately, throughout this period, longer-term inflation expectations, both break even in the markets and almost all of the longer-term surveys, Michigan being a bit of an outlier lately, have been just rock solid in terms of running at levels that are consistent with 2% inflation over time. So we don't take that for granted. We actually assume that our actions have a real effect on that, and that we need to continually show and also discuss our commitment to 2% inflation. And so you'll hear us doing that. But as I mentioned, it's a difficult situation because we have risks that are both affecting the labor market and inflation. Those are our two goals, and so we have to balance those two. When they're both at risk, we have to balance them, and that's really what we're trying to do. Your latter part of your question was about independence. I don't see market participants. I don't see that that's something they're factoring in right now in terms of setting interest rates. Thanks very much.
Tanks? Tanks? You call that tanks? You guys have some of the best comments. I was just laughing all the way. Well, everybody, very happy to have you. Welcome, Oscar, here live, coming at you with breaking news. The Fed cuts 25 basis points. The first one in the entire 2025. And Donald J. Trump is going to be talking about it, of course. Not enough, but at least something. Even Oscar's falling asleep. No, I wasn't falling asleep. It's just that, I don't know, I'm just listening, I'm just paying attention to what he's saying. And not really what Wall Street wanted to hear, right, as far as being more dovish. But, and he's not really giving any answers as to the new Fed governor that is coming from the White House. There's some people, just a few, that wanted to see a 50 basis point, but not everybody. So we got the cut that everyone was expecting, right? Great, awesome. But we still don't see the prices pop off. I'm going to come to X right now, show you, what the market and how the market is reacting. Let's take a look at this. Right now, it cuts.
Little fuck, I've got money stacks bigger than you, rallying off a weak CPI number. You perma bulls are a joke, but watch me turn the tables and leave your ass broke. Weak ass bears getting slaughtered, turn them bullish in fright. You thought you had a chance.
Why am I expecting? I'm telling you, bro, we come at you with some like good intentions, and then X always it's okay. So drop a like, guys, consider subscribing to the channel, turn on the notification bell button. Really happy that that you're here. Click the first link down below and join me on BTCC. There's a comment, one of my moderators just sent it to me via private message. Guys, the giveaway, the 2000 XRP giveaway, I know it says like today is the deadline, right, for the 4 winners. I told my BTCC team it's supposed to be the end of the month, so they have to fix it. So I already told them like so many times, so they have to fix it. It's the end of the month, not the middle of the month. Okay, so I'll keep you in the know, I'll keep you updated, but just FYI, I know people are trading because you want to win the 2000 XRP. It's only 1 winner, not 4. But I'll keep you in the know. I don't have access to that. That's them, not me. I'm just communicating, right? FYI. But yeah, we do have a giveaway, and we're going to give 2000 XRP. Okay? Let's go ahead. Jerome Powell says the Federal Reserve doesn't feel they need to move quickly on interest rate cuts. Man. Oh, look at this. Haters will say it's AI. Haters will say it's AI. I like that picture. That's good. That's good. Um, it was it was a nice pump and dump and pump so far. I think you're seeing, and this it looks so funny. It looks so funny, and in the future, people are gonna say that's AI. Well, guess what? That happened. That's real. That's so real. Oh man, it's like the best thing ever, right? We wanted to see Jerome Powell do this for us, but no, nope, nope, no.
Good afternoon. My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual.
He's so funny, man. I know that you guys hate him. I know that, the love, the passion. But at the end of the day, I'm very happy to see some green candles after seeing some major red candles. My positions are still live. My positions are still good. Those who don't know, get ready for the first XRP ETF. Let me show you. The first and only spot exposure to Doge and XRP in the US. So we have DOJE representing the Dogecoin ETF Rex Osprey and XRPR representing Rex Osprey XRP ETF. Launching tomorrow. It's official, everybody. I'm so ready. And guess what? I hope it's not gonna be a buy the rumor, sell the news. But what happened today, plus this one, guys, I think it really is gonna help us. It's really gonna help us. I mean, I'm bullish, guys. I'm honestly really, really bullish. Trump tweeted. Let me go ahead and go to Truth Social right now. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Mr. Trump 17 hours ago. Let's take a look at this. 17 hours ago. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. You mean tweeted or posted on Truth Social? Nope. I don't see anything on Truth Social. Nope. Nothing. Nothing. All right. Just waiting and checking. Fam, follow me on X if you are on X. If you want to know the latest, greatest updates for us, from us, that'll be pretty good. Here it is. Real Oscar Ramos 1. So a reminder, right, that we're always welcoming people and we're just posting and keeping everybody in the know. My expectation is that we're going to start sending XRP to the moon. I know that it's not what we wanted. I know it's not the price that you expected. But again, right now, the only thing I can do is accumulate and prepare my bags because I know that the future is much better. And green candles are coming, guys. Green candles are coming. I have no question about that. No question. That being said, guys, all I think is left for me to do is click this link. Oh, it's not gonna show it. I know. Well, Trader Ramos is gonna show me. Yes. So you can come to my X or click the link down below in the description, right? Or the top of the chat and come to my official website. And here you have the link to BTCC. You have a bunch of videos, guys. I'm taking this opportunity to tell you that at the end of the month, I'm going to Singapore. I'm going on behalf of BTCC too. It's going to be an amazing experience and I'll keep you in the know. I'll tell you exactly what's cooking in Singapore. I'll be meeting Levi. Shout out to my man Levi. I think he's live right now, so shout out to Levi. We'll be there having a good time and you can always join us for free in our Telegram chat. It's free. You don't pay anything. Just come and we'll tell you a few of our trade positions because we care. Okay? That being said, I want to thank all of you for coming. I want to thank all the new members, new subscribers for joining us today. And to all my moderators and admins, thank you guys for stopping by and helping us with the chat. I always appreciate that a lot. JB, TJ, Godstrude, and everyone here too. Cheaper and more goes to as well. Clickbait Levi. Jeffro in the house. So you guys, I know a tough one, but not much we can do other than keep huddling and buying the dip. Nothing really changed, but we'll have to wait a few more hours and see when Asia wakes up, and hopefully we can start seeing some major pumps. I'm excited. I'm bullish. I think we're gonna do well. It's just that today, right now, we just have to wait a little bit more to see some major movements. Catch you next time, everybody. Thanks for watching. Peace. Let's go. Another successful FOMC from work. Love you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. God bless you all. Stay safe, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you.